Hi, everybody. Today is Friday. It is March the 11th. And I had to take a few days off. I've gone through 3 days in a row where I video journaled what I've entitled emotional and mental abuse, and basically what my life was like for about almost 5 years, right at 5 years, in an emotionally and mentally abusive relationship with a narcissist, sociopath, and what that really looks like. And so frankly, it was very draining. And if you are watching all of my videos on this, I would suggest going to actually Valentine's Day the 14th on God's Reckless Love, because I always bring it back to God's love and God's redemption story in all of us. And that's my whole purpose in sharing and talking about my life and my story. Thank you, Grubhub. Anyway, but on February the 14th is I did a video, a short 9-minute, on God's reckless love for us and what that looks like. And so that was the segue to finally opening up and journaling on a relationship that was extremely destructive. And so I don't want to go repeat everything. So you just have to go back to the original videos, and then 1, 2, and 3. That there's a progression that happens. So before I just kind of button everything up, I want to, seriously, I do, but I would be remiss if I did not just share how devious, disgusting, sick, and insidious situations became with my abuser, with the relationship, the person that I thought that loved me. And I realized that it was not the case at all, but I was trapped. So let's just move forward, okay? So as things began, year 3 into year 4, the contempt for him towards me was growing stronger. The abuser will create, I already mentioned this before, but create situations and that make you think that you are the problem. But it goes even further than that. And there's a few of them that really, really stand out, that are just so sick, like just sick in the mind. So one of his famous tactics, so I mentioned before, we would go to Holland every springtime and then every fall time, like Thanksgiving time. But in the interim, actually, we spent 2 weeks in August and 2 weeks in September in Greece, always. And then we would kind of mix it up and go to Portugal or Spain. But 4 weeks we were traveling. And people think, oh my gosh, that's so glamorous, that's so amazing, that's so great. However, this was the opportunity that he would take from the very beginning. So it began at the airport, walking away from me, walking faster than me, getting his luggage through faster than me, ridiculing me at the airport for not being quick enough, for not getting through the TSA fast enough, leaving me outside of the United Club because I couldn't get in without him. This was the beginning of almost every trip as it started to progress. Like I said, like year 3, even year 2, he started acting like that, but it got worse and worse. So that was the stage that was being set for my whole trip, being away with him alone. While we were away, a couple of things. Well, I'll just share. In Paris, everyone wants to go to Paris, right? Beautiful. Oh, it's Paris, la, la, la. And we are in line at a restaurant. Actually, it was like a fast food type of restaurant. And I wasn't familiar with the menu. And, I can understand it, but everything was in packages. You couldn't just piecemeal stuff like how you do here in America. And I was ordering, but I wanted to modify my order. And the girl behind the counter she wasn't understanding how I wanted to modify my order. He threw a huge fit right there beside me, berated me loudly. Everyone around me was startled by his behavior, but yet he was justified in his behavior. After I got the food, we sat down. I couldn't even eat. I was so sick to my stomach. I couldn't even eat. And he ate like no problem. And God, I just never forget how his face. He had no problem with anything. And he even asked me, he's like, "Why aren't you eating?" I was like, I'm not hungry. I'm not hungry anymore. And so we got up and went out into the street. It was very crowded. People were walking to and fro, to and fro, to and fro. And I was walking on the sidewalk next to him, and then all of a sudden he disappears. I mean, I look around, he is gone. Gone. And I'm like, oh my God, like I have instant fear, instant panic. I thought, where did he go? Where did he go? Where did he go? And I look everywhere. He's nowhere to be found. So I start just walking slowly into some stores, and I come back out and I walk down to the main, area, and I stand around and I look around, and I'm feeling very alone, very not scared. I wasn't scared. I was like, how in the hell is this happening to me? Like, excuse my language, but like, that's all I can say. Like, this is Paris. This is supposed to be a great. And this was like my first big day. And I'm like, I don't even know how to get back to where we were. We're like at the Hilton or Hyatt or something like that. Oh, by the way, he had my passport, had all the money, had everything. And this is before iPhones. There was no iPhone. It was a flip phone, and I don't even know if I had it on me or not. Anyway, it seemed like forever. I just walked around all the famous places by myself, sickened, and like, this is not what it's supposed to be like. So I began just walking down a sidewalk. I didn't even know where I was going. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, here he comes walking like this. And he's a big guy. He's like 6 foot, solid stature. And he starts walking past me in the street, and I'm on the sidewalk. And as he's walking like this, and he kind of looks over and he keeps walking. And I'm like, all of a sudden it hits me. You are sick. You have been watching me the whole time while I'm paralyzed and confused and lost and downtrodden. Like, you've been watching me the whole time. What a sicko. What a sicko. So he comes walking past me, And all of this hits me. And what am I going to do? So I'll tell you what I did. I said, hey, where you been? You want to share the sidewalk with me? So I had to be the comforter, or I had to be the one that said, hey, make the appeasement. Make the appeasement. And he came over and he never said a word. Never, nothing. It was the weirdest It was just like, and it lasted for over an hour. This was like the incident, then he just disappeared. I mean, it was maybe even more than an hour. It was more than an hour. Anyway, the point is, it was very alarming, the fact that somebody can actually abandon you in a foreign city and then show up. And I was walking on like a separate street and everything, just trying to walk around. That just told me what a sicko I was dealing with. And I didn't even know how to get out of it. So that was one incident. There were so many incidences where they want to make you feel, like I said, small, inadequate, dumb, unworthy, unappreciated, unattractive, all the unwords. I mean, I'm 5'8". I don't know if you can tell on this video. I am 5'8", and I'm pretty much a solid 4'6", mostly 6. I was like a 2 towards the end of this relationship because it had just beat me down so much. But, oh my gosh, I'm already 12 minutes in. I took too much time on that one. Then there's all the times that we were in Greece. Let's see, Mykonos, Naxos, Paros, Antiparos, Santorini, Rhodos. I can't even count all the islands I've been to. They were all supposed to be wonderful trips. And then there were hints of wonderful times. And then there would always be something. He would find always something. Like, I needed more toilet paper one time. Hey, we're low on toilet paper. We need to order another roll of toilet paper. I got berated for how much toilet paper I used, and then he monitored my toilet paper. Yeah, that's great, right? Monitoring toilet paper. It's a good one. Let's see. There's just so many, I don't even know where to start. And I knew that things were getting really bad. I'm just gonna try to bring this together. So the trips were getting scarier. The more I was alone with him, the scarier things became. His behavior became erratic, more and more controlling, but erratic and irrational, very irrational. We came back home to the States, and that was the fourth year, that August, September. He went to Holland by himself that fall. And then the 5th year came, and that was the beginning of that year. And his drinking, that's when a lot of the market crashed, and housing market. He had a lot of investments in housing, and they crashed. We lost several $100,000 in one thing and several $100,000 in another thing. And so it was a very stressful for him. And, I kept trying to go to church and doing my thing, and it just wasn't working. I was being ostracized and punished for that. And he became more and more depressed because of the market. And no matter how much I tried to, even in the midst of all the abuse and the crap and the disgusting sicko stuff he was doing to me, I still was like, trying and thinking in my mind, like, well, maybe if I just say enough positive things, maybe if I just say, but God, or I know everything's going to be okay, I was met with complete hostility and shut down immediately, like shut down. So, and it was very common for him to disappear for a day and a night and a day and a night, leaving me to wonder, is he cheating on me? But then of course he said, oh, I never cheated on you. He told me that later, but who knows? So anyway, here's what happens. It was the beginning of a new year, and I was sleeping downstairs. We had a huge master bedroom and bathroom, and I slept with the doors locked because I was afraid of him. And he was becoming more irrational. And he was upstairs a lot, and that's where he slept. So one night, it was the beginning of the year, and I was upstairs in the game room, and I always just tried to make peace, just make peace, and I was not drinking any alcohol. I'm a big champagne drinker, and I love my really nice big cabs, and I do like a good, nice dry martini, but I had stopped drinking altogether because I needed to hear from God. I had to hear from him. I needed to hear, and I could not hear when I was medicating myself, basically, right? Let's just be for real here. And so I remember I was upstairs, and he had been drinking, and I'll never forget the way he was looking at me. It was with hatred and contempt. And we had not even been talking or fighting or nothing. It was just this eeriness, if you will. And I remember we were upstairs, and he was making a Jack Daniels and a Coke, Diet Coke. And he made himself one, and he made me one. And I said, I don't want it. And he's like, what do you mean you don't want it? I said, no, I'm not. I don't want it. And I remember how he took the back of my head, grabbed the back of my head and my neck, and forced the short crystal glass, to my mouth, and said, you need to take your medicine. And I just stood there, and he held it. And I didn't move, and I did not take it. And he realized, well, she's fighting against me now. I was not complying to him. And he sat it down. He was very angry. I could tell he was frustrated. Like, it was confounding him. Because by this time, I was getting more and more reading my Bible again. I was going to church on my own. And I was trying everything, but it was the heaviness and the weight in the house was overwhelming. So after he told me to take my medicine, I forgot. Remember how I had shared that I had given my dad like 5 pages front and back, so like 10 pages full of things that he was doing and saying, and I was logging it all. Well, my dad had advised me to get a little recorder. It was like this big, but this big, with a tape, and keep it on me. And every time I was around him, I needed to record. And he never knew that. And to this day, he doesn't know that. So I kept it on me. And there are many, many things that my family heard him say to me. But I have on record the take your medicine. But I also have on record this. So I'll never forget. He says to me, you know, when I met you, I thought you were somebody. You had a fancy car. No, I had like a 5-year-old Mercedes C-Class stick shift. Not fancy. I mean, like, okay, whatever. You know, when I met you, you had a fancy car and you were so successful and you projected yourself in this way. And I thought we were going to be this team together and that how did he word it? You were my equal. That's what he said. You were my equal. And now I just realize I should have gotten rid of you a long time ago. And when he said that, and how he said that, in his face, all of a sudden it was like, he does not love you. He is not in love with you. He's never loved you. He does not love you. And that resonating with me was like, and he didn't say it lashing out. This was not a lashing out statement. This was a calculated, well thought out, this is how I feel about you. You stupid, you know what. And because he was always monitoring my money, always. You know, I could have a $30,000 month. I could have a $50,000 month. I could have a 0 month. I could have a $5,000 month. When you're self-employed and you are in construction, remodeling, and interior design, your months, they vary. And instead of respecting me, he wanted to capitalize on me, manipulate, control, and then ended up punishing and abusing. So that night I knew how he said it and how he looked at me was frightening. And I said, okay, well, I don't want to be somewhere where I'm not wanted. We were very calm. There was no yelling, no nothing. I never had that drink. It was still in the bar. I went downstairs and I was shaking to my core. And I thought, I need help. I need to figure out how I'm going to get out of this. And so I'm going to be able to share on my next entry God's rescue story. How, I always say God never stops fighting for us. And I am here to tell you, I am that story. Even through everything that I had experienced and gone through and justified and partaken in, but I knew in my heart and my soul, this was not my destiny. As much as he wanted me to think what he had created was all that I had, and I was never going to get anything else. Oh, I totally forgot about this part. All the cameras in the house. At some point, he had installed cameras in the house. Like, it was a large home, very large. Bedrooms, multiple gathering places, our master bathroom, the bedroom, everywhere. He had a very large, he was a collector of antiquities. I never mentioned that. He especially liked shamans, Central and South American. He especially liked anything from Egypt. He loved phallic symbols. It was not uncommon for me to open up a box and have $50,000 worth, easy or more, of collectibles. It could be anything from, like I said, like they were museum worthy items. And that was kind of like his obsession. So he put cameras, not just in that room, but cameras everywhere in the house. And I'll never forget when he said, "Yeah, I have to keep my eye on you." And it was just like the weirdest thing that he would say. And he didn't say it funny, like he said it seriously. So anyway, all of these things, I knew that it was wrong. I knew I was in the wrong place. I knew this was not God's destiny for me. I knew it was time. And I called a lady. It was a mutual friend. I called her, and it was actually that very night after he told me that I should have just gotten rid of you a long time ago. You're a problem I should have gotten rid of a long time ago. I couldn't even believe that. How could you say that and speak that? And I called her and I told her I was hysterical at that point. When I phoned her, I said, I'm going to have a nervous breakdown. I need your help. I need help. I need help. I need like psychological help because I'm having a nervous breakdown. And she connected me with a lady who offered, it was twice a week at no charge, help for women who were in like emotionally and mentally abusive situations, relationships. And I started going on Tuesdays and Thursdays for an hour. And of course I was ridiculed and mocked for that, even though I was told I was, effed up. But then I went for therapy, but then I was punished for that too. But anyway, that's how they work. That's the cycle. So thank God, I was put with a wonderful lady, and I began to see what was really going on. And that was the pivotal point. That February, March, April were my pivotal points where God began to reclaim me. I reclaimed him. He reclaimed me. And I had my true rescue story. And God made a way. He made the way. And it's pretty phenomenal. But anyway, so in the meantime, guys, it's 28 minutes in. So thank you for sticking it out with me. There's so much that I could share. And, I find that if I keep concentrating on every single diabolical situation that I had found myself in, it's just not helpful. It's just not like, I could share that on a one-on-one basis, if things present themselves that way. But I think I've shared enough. And excuse me, but my whole point always is, God never stops fighting for us. He is always for us. And he is beside you. He's behind you, he's beside you, and he goes before you. And he always makes the way. Even when we don't have a way, he never stops fighting for us. And he is our rescue story. And so thank you for joining me. Please hit the like button. Send me a note if you have a comment or a prayer request. Please let me know. And I'm very excited because I know tomorrow, before I leave for spring break, I am going to finish up with the glorious day how that happened and how it all came together. And it truly is remarkable. And so anyway, okay, so God bless and take care. Good night.